I know we're all guilty of lying in bed, scrolling through this new website we just discovered with the cutest clothes, adding it all to cart, and then remembering your wallet is in the living room and you don't want to get out of bed to go find your credit card number. So then you head to the checkout in hopes that you see that purple shop button. And there it is, the iconic purple Shop Pay button that has all of your payment and shipping information saved, saving you time while you get to stay cozy in bed. Well, that's Shopify. And there's a reason so many businesses sell with it, because Shopify makes everything easier, from checkout to creating your own storefront. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Skims and Rode to brands just getting started. It gives you that leg up from day one with hundreds of beautiful, ready-to-go templates to express your brand style. You could tackle all of the important tasks in one place, from inventory to payments to analytics and more, including spreading the word on your brand with built-in marketing and email tools to find and keep new customers. And as for that iconic purple Shop Pay button, it's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. Your customers already love it. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/forthegirls. Go to shopify.com/forthegirls. Shopify.com/forthegirls. I have something to share that has been highly requested, highly anticipated, and now it's finally here. The workbook for the girls who desire more. I created a 90-page digital workbook that includes journal prompts, powerful worksheets, thought-provoking questions, personal development activities, and so much more that'll have you digging deeper than ever before. And it's available right now for only $29. That's right. This workbook is a $299 value, and it's all yours for only $29 at victoriaalario.com or at the link in the show notes. So grab your dream workbook, get to work, and become your dream girl now at victoriaalario.com. You're listening to a For the Girls podcast Flashback Friday episode. Every Friday, I reshare an older episode for new listeners who haven't heard it, or as a refresher for OG listeners who might need to hear it again as a reminder. Enjoy, and I'll see you with a new episode on Monday. Settling is not an option for me. Everything I desire is already mine. What if you can have it all? Because every day is for the girls. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of For the Girls. I'm your host, Victoria Alario. Oh my God, I have to tell you girls this. I didn't post it on social media, but when I came home from Italy, I came home to a little surprise. Keep in mind, I came home for just like a few hours. I got home from Italy at 11 p.m., dumped my suitcase out on the floor, packed it with all my Turk stuff, and immediately went right back to the airport at 7 o'clock in the morning. Like, that's how long I was home between Italy and Turks, literally just to swap out my suitcase. And when I walked in, there was like a little surprise in here for me. I'm not gonna say like what it is and the whole thing because, you know, like, little bit of privacy at some point. I don't know where I draw the line on privacy, but I'm gonna draw it there. And moral of the story is, I walked into a surprise after a terrible day of travel. My travel to and from Italy was just awful. We had connecting flights. Oh my God, I do not recommend that at all. Hated it. Delays, getting home late, getting places late, running to connection. Oh, just awful. And he knew that I was having a really shitty just like time with that. And so he got into my apartment before he left for Turks / before I got home from Italy, left me a cute surprise, and I just like melted. And I'm like, this is exactly what I needed to come home to. This was exactly the only thing that could make me feel better at the moment, that could lift my spirits. And maybe, you know, that's what it is. It's just those things that just keep you going and keep making the moment special and the things special. And that to me is relationship goals and what girls should want. Do not be with someone who gets comfortable after the freaking third date, after 3 months, after 6 months, after 9 months. Be with the person who keeps things exciting for you at all times. And like the title of this episode says, how to get everything you want, let's talk about that, because this is exactly what happened to me. I got everything I want, and a lot of people never do. And all they want to know is how. And they want to know how on surface level things, like, how do I find a guy like that? How do I find this? How do I do that? Or even where? Where do I meet this kind of guy? Where do I meet a generous guy? Like, they're thinking so one-dimensionally. They're thinking so small. They're not realizing the abundance in finding or getting exactly what you want, and how that's all just your energy. That's all just who you are as a person. What you mirror back into your life, what you put out, what you get back. If you've listened to me talk about how my boyfriend and I got set up, it's the proof is right there in the pudding. We got set up by somebody who just happened to be following me on social media, who just saw my vibe, saw my energy, saw the type of person I was, and thought she had a good guy that would match that, a good guy who would elevate that, better yet, somebody who would be a perfect fit for me. I wasn't going out to specific places to find a specific type of guy. Of course, I was going out hoping to meet somebody, but I didn't go out thinking, okay, in this place, I'll find this kind of guy. In that place, I'll find that kind of guy. I think that comes from really desperate energy. And don't get me wrong, I've had desperate moments. I've had desperate times where I've really, really, really wanted to meet somebody, and that was my only goal of going out or going certain places. My only goal was in hopes to meet somebody. But luckily I had the mindset to remind myself that, like, what you want exists, and what you're seeking is also seeking you, and what you're praying for is also praying for you. So if it's meant to be, it'll be. Don't go out with one sole purpose, because you can't force your fate. You can't force what's meant to be. It's either going to happen or it's not. So if you go out and don't meet somebody, it doesn't mean that the night was a fail per se. It just means that it wasn't meant to happen that night. It also doesn't mean that this is a place you can meet people or this isn't a place you can meet people, because in the very same place where maybe I didn't have quote unquote luck, somebody else would be like, oh, I met my husband there. And I put quotes around luck because I don't believe that luck will get you or give you what you want, what you need, what you desire, what you're wishing for. I don't think that at all. I don't think that people get lucky and find good relationships. I think that certain relationships are just meant for certain people, and they may be attracting it more because it's what they're putting out. There's so many girls that I used to, back, years ago, where maybe my mindset wasn't as strong. Maybe I had a little bit more of a scarcity mindset, where these girls would get boyfriend after boyfriend after boyfriend. And I was like, fail after fail after fail. And I'd be like, how? She's so lucky. How does she always end up with another boyfriend? Well, maybe it's because she has a more abundant mindset around men. She's leading more with her heart. She is putting out more love and showing more love, and therefore she's receiving it. Whereas my mindset, being that it was on that scarcity side, I wasn't leading with my heart. I was leading with negative emotion, negative thoughts and feelings. So I wasn't attracting that abundance around love back to me. So if that's where you're at right now, of course you're not going to call love in. Of course you're not calling in your dream partner, because you're not the dream version of you. You have to remember, if you are going to have high standards and you want a man with high standards, he's going to have high standards for what he's looking for in a woman. So if you want to attract your dream partner, then you should be the dream version of yourself. You should be the best version of you in order to get the best version of somebody else. And so as I've gotten older and more mature and wiser and just a lot more stronger, in my faith and in my mindset and just ultimately my values, my morals, the things that I believe in and whatnot, I was able to really see things from a wider lens, or I was able to see things from a new perspective and peel back the layer and just say, wait, I know how to get everything I want. It's not by doing any of this. It's not by thinking negatively. It's not by comparing myself to other people. It's not by wanting what somebody else has. It's none of that. The way to get what I want is as simple as this, to just want it. And I could get what I want simply because I want it. That is my secret. That is my key on how I've gotten everything I wanted. It's just by wanting it. That's it. Now you might be like, what the fuck are you even talking about? What does that even mean? You get what you want just by wanting it? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. What I'm talking about is that I built confidence around myself and I built confidence around my desires, and I was able to say, of course I'm going to get what I want. I don't care how long it's going to take. I'll stay single. That's perfectly fine with me because I'm not going to end up in a bad relationship. I'm not going to end up with the wrong person. I'm not going to end up with less than what I want because I'm going to get what I want. So I'm just going to wait until that happens. I'm never going to end up with a guy who isn't right for me. I'm never going to end up with a guy who can't treat me the way that I need to be treated, who can't meet my needs, who can't match my energy, who can't match my standards, who can't give me what I want. I wouldn't be in that relationship because I wouldn't settle for it, because I wouldn't put myself in the position to be in that relationship. You know what they say, high standards prevents you from low quality experiences. So I'm just going to avoid low quality experiences altogether, because why should I entertain that? Why should I be involved in that? I am so confident in myself and so confident in what I want that I'm just going to wait until I get what I want. And it's as simple as that. I'm not going to have negative thoughts around it in the meantime. I'm not going to be upset about it in the meantime. I'm just going to wait patiently until that time comes. And it was never a matter of if I'm going to get what I want. It's just when. That right there speaks abundance. Just the way that you talk, just the words that you say, saying things like, if I have that guy, if I have that relationship, or if I meet that guy, or if I have XYZ, whatever, or when I meet my person, when I'm in that relationship, when I have these things, that right there, that language, there's a shift right there, because your brain is going to just go with the flow of the way that you think and speak. Like, it's almost like watching a scary movie, right? You know that it's not real. You know that it's acting. But because you're watching it and you're thinking that it's scary and your emotions are going to the fact that you're scared, your brain is scared. You're going to cover your eyes. You're going to go behind the pillow. You're going to jump. You're going to scream. Your heart's going to be pounding. You're going to be like, holy shit. But it's just a movie. Same thing with sad movies. You know it's not real, but you get emotionally connected to the characters, to the storyline. You fall in love with their love, their situation, or whatever it is that's going on, and then you cry. You get all emotionally invested, and then by the ending, this one dies, or they break up, or whatever happens, and you feel like your heart got ripped out, stomped on, and what have you. And guess what? Those people are not really in love. That person did not really die. Quite frankly, they probably don't even care about each other in real life. They're just co-workers. This is not a real thing. But you are tricking your brain into believing it because that's just the way that you're thinking. That's the way your mindset is going. That's the way that your emotions are going. So you can convince yourself of quite literally anything. If you can knowingly watch a fake scene, a movie, a fake thing happening, and still convince yourself to feel a certain way and to get, these pent up emotions and cry, then you can convince yourself that you can get whatever you want simply because you want it. And you don't need to have a reason to be a certain level of deserving of it. It could just be your true, honest desire. And that's that. When people would make comments to me or ask questions like, whatever, why are you single, or make a rude negative comment about me being single, I never felt a negative way about it. Again, yes, there were definitely times where I felt, low. I had low points just like anybody else does. I'm human. But I would say 99% of the time when I was, in check and just living my life, I didn't feel negatively about being single. Like, I couldn't even be offended by what people were saying, or I couldn't even answer certain questions in the way that they thought I was going to answer them, because when it's like, oh, well, if you feel this, or if you have such high standards and this and that, and you're all great and whatnot, then why are you single? Why are you single? It's like, well, because you just said it yourself, like, because I have high standards. Like, I'm single because I have high standards and I'm not going to settle. I'm single because I'm not going to be with somebody who can't give me what I want. I'm single because I refuse to settle. Like, I'm not sad about that. I'm actually really content with that. Like, that's how I felt. And so when people, even with good intentions, would make comments like, oh, you got to meet someone or whatever, that where they would kind of like pressure me or put it on me about, being single for too long and whatnot, which I've had people say so many times, oh, you're single for too long, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, what, you'd rather me settle just so I could be in a relationship? Like, is that what you want for me? Is that what you wish for me? There were so many times that people would make comments like this, and these people, maybe they weren't single, but they're not even in those relationships anymore. So what, I should take a note out of, take a page out of your book, take notes from you because you happen to be in a relationship that didn't even serve you for the greater good with a guy that now you talk shit about? Like, I didn't want that. I didn't want to be in on and off relationships. I didn't want to be in short-term relationships. Like, I was fine just waiting. So again, even with those people, when they would make comments, people who loved me, I'm not even talking about people from social media, even then I was just like, no, because I know what I want and I'm just gonna wait. Like, I don't think I'm crazy. I don't think I'm asking for too much. I don't think that I've gotten to a point of being like, you know what, maybe I should just lower my standards. Maybe I should just take what I could get. Like, I just never got there. My mind never went to that place. I genuinely think it's that simple. I want what I want, and that's that. Like, I'm gonna get what I want because I want it, and I don't need to explain why I want it. I don't need to have a reason why I want it. I want this. I don't want that. Therefore, I will not have that. I will not settle for that. I'm going to go for this because this is what I want, no matter how long it takes to get it. And that can go so many ways. It doesn't have to just be romantic relationships. For me, that was predominantly the ongoing thing in my life was, what the hell is that? I'm sorry, I just left that in because I thought that was funny because listening to that back made me laugh. Normally I would edit that out, but I thought you guys might find that a little bit funny. It is my mom in the other room. She came here to help me do some stuff and she's like dragging hangers across the floor, and that's what it sounds like. But for me, relationships and singleness, that was predominantly the ongoing thing. That was always a topic of discussion, always happening, and just always a thing in my life. Okay, so now for you, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be romantic relationships. It could be your career, it could be money, it could be a job, it could be material things, it could be the type of lifestyle you want to live, it could be the body you want to have, your dream body, your dream health and wellness and fitness, your dream apartment where you want to live. Like, whatever the thing is that you want. Does not have to be a boyfriend or a husband or babies or anything of that sort. If that's not what resonates with you, it could quite literally be something complete polar opposite, and just your deep desire to travel the world, and maybe you don't have the finances right now, or maybe you don't have the time freedom right now. So whatever that thing is, of course you can have that. You just have to tell yourself that you're going to have that, and then you adjust accordingly. Then you move accordingly. Say that it is something to do with finances. You want to have an abundance of money. You want to have more money in savings. You want to have more money to spend. You want to be able to travel. You want to be able to pay your rent and beyond. You want to be able to buy yourself the things that you want, designer items. I don't care, whatever it is. You want to find the things in life you enjoy, luxury. Okay, so now if that's what you really want and you deeply desire it, then the way that you would adjust according to that, now you have the mindset, okay, I want this, so I'm going to have it because I want this, is you start adjusting the way that you're living, the way that you're thinking, speaking, acting, the things that you're doing, what you're spending your time on, what you're spending your money on. So now, if you're in a position where you have a really low paying job, you absolutely hate your job, you have no free time, you don't like the hours, you don't like the workload, and for all that you're making pretty much nothing with that, you're only able to afford your rent, barely make ends meet, and so on and so forth, you're not going to keep living like that. You're going to start to adjust, right? So you're going to start seeking a new job, or maybe you're going to start seeking a remote job so that you could have more flexible time. You could work from home, or maybe you're going to start putting time into a side business. You're going to start building something that can make you residual income. Whatever it might be, you're going to start making the adjustments because you're going to say, well, if this is what I want, I have to have this thing, therefore I have to move accordingly, like I said. So you're not going to be wasting time or money. You're going to be investing time and money. You're not going to be doing those low quality experiences. Like I just said, you're going to have higher standards. You're going to value your time more. You're going to value your money more. You're going to figure out ways to increase the quality of your life. You're going to figure out ways to increase the positivity and the abundance, mindset and whatnot, so that you can actually enjoy spending your money. You could actually enjoy how you spend your time instead of just living in the rat race of being miserable and always wanting certain things, but being like, well, I don't get to have that. I can't have that. Well, you can if you want it bad enough. You're just not putting yourself in the position to receive it.
Did you know that your daily routine could be full of hormone disruptors? It's true. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living rent-free in our environment right now. In our food, our water, the air we breathe, the clothes we wear, our skincare, and yes, they all mess with our hormones. But the good news is that we don't have to suffer through any of it anymore. Because now we have Hormone Harmony, a formula made with only herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. My mom and I both take it, and we love it for different reasons. I have a regular menstrual cycle, and my mom has already gone through menopause, so our hormones work differently, and we both get what we need from Hormone Harmony. And that's because Happy Mammoth, the company that created Hormone Harmony, is dedicated to making women's lives easier. And that means only using science-backed ingredients that have been proven to work for women. They make no compromise when it comes to quality, and it shows. It's not just a hormone supporting supplement anymore. It became a phenomenon. Women cannot stop talking about it on social media, and a bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. For a limited time, you can get 15% off on your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code FORTHEGIRLS at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code FORTHEGIRLS for 15% off today.
We all want to feel our best, but let's be real. Some wellness trends are hard to stick with. That's why Goli's ashwagandha gummies are a game changer. Goli Nutrition makes wellness easy and delicious with their ashwagandha gummies. And they're America's #1 ashwagandha brand, trusted by millions. They are chewable, made with high quality ingredients, taste amazing, and are packed with essential B vitamins so you can feel your best without any hassle. Goli ashwagandha gummies are made with KSM 66, a clinically studied form of ashwagandha known to lower cortisol levels, the hormone your body releases when you're stressed. And when your cortisol drops, you feel calmer, you sleep better, think more clearly, and even have more balanced energy throughout the day. No pills, powder, or mixing, just convenient, on-the-go stress support in a delicious gummy. Grab, chew, and feel the difference. So head to Goli.com now and get 50% off Goli's ashwagandha gummies today only using Goli50. Try them risk-free with Goli's money-back guarantee, because wellness should be simple, effective, and delicious. Don't wait. Visit Goli.com and use code Goli50 today. I know it's not always easy to whip up recipes that are fast, flavorful, and still feel special, but I have a shortcut to deliciousness for you girls. Frozen Washington red raspberries. They're American-grown raspberries picked at peak ripeness and frozen within hours to lock in bright, sweet, tart flavor, no added sugars or preservatives, just the good stuff. Cooking and baking is such a love language of mine, and nothing says love like some homemade muffins or pancakes for breakfast, so these have become a freezer staple for me to razz up all my favorite things to make. They not only elevate your traditional recipes by adding bold flavor and vibrant color, but they honestly make me feel like a kitchen genius when my fiance says to me, "Wait, how did you make these? Something's different." Well, the secret is these berries are crafted specifically to be frozen. That means better texture, better taste, and better results in your kitchen. I've used other frozen berries that turn to mush when they defrost, and the difference is extraordinary. They're grown by passionate farmers in Washington state, so they're frozen with care to ensure top quality and food safety. You can find frozen Washington red raspberries in the frozen fruit section of most major grocery retailers like Kroger, Meijer, and Winco Foods. I always check the label for American grown frozen raspberries. Just look for product of the US on the bag. Want to learn more details on where to find American frozen red raspberries, plus recipe ideas and cooking tips? Head to redraz.org. That's redrazz.org. You'll find participating retailers and inspiration for every meal, plus info on how these berries go from farm to freezer with quality you can taste. Okay, girls, I got a question for you all to think about. How would life be different if you developed undeniable confidence? Well, you're about to find out, because I know you're sick of settling for the bare minimum. I know you crave more in life. So imagine how different your life would be if you had the tools to stop settling, to start raising your standards, and to start getting everything you want in life. And guess what? You can get all the tools through my Queens of Confidence coaching program. It's a self-paced, 8-module digital program that has been proven to change lives through recorded coaching videos, journal prompts and worksheets, and a community discussion board for you to ask me any questions and connect with the other members of the program too. Topics of the Queens of Confidence program include external validation, feminine energy, masculine energy, boundaries, high standards, communication skills, self-doubt, limiting beliefs, imposter syndrome, daily habits, mindful living, emotional availability, improving your relationships, understanding your needs, attracting everything you want, and yes, more. You can get instant access to the entire program right now, and best of all, you can watch and learn at your own pace because your access is granted forever. Some of the queens who have completed the program said, "It's the best investment I've ever made into myself. Vic is the best person to learn from. She's a true expert when it comes to confidence, worth every penny. And I've taken a couple of courses where they sound rehearsed or just repeat the same cookie cutter things. Your course is the complete opposite, and your everyday examples really drive your points home." So girls, it's your time. Invest in yourself, you're worth it, and your 2.0 self will thank you for changing your life for the better. Head to victoriaalario.com or click the link in the show notes and get the Queens of Confidence program now. So let's dig even deeper to that with a specific, tangible example about putting yourself in the position to receive it. I have a Dear Victoria segment that I'm going to explain and get into. For those of you who are new here, Dear Victoria is a segment that I like to do at the end of most of my episodes if the question pertains to the topic that I'm speaking about, where listeners can write in and send me their scenario that they need advice on, whatever situation it is, even if they just have a question that they want me to dig deeper on. And if you have anything that you want to send my way, you can email me. It is victoria.forthegirlspodcast@gmail.com. And if I feel like I'm up for answering it, if I feel like I'm the right person to respond to it, then I will use it when an episode comes up that it, relates to. So this one is, Dear Victoria, when you were dating, how did you handle letting guys know early on that hookups are not something you're interested in? I am not into anything casual or hookups, and I am playing the waiting game. However, I constantly have guys making inappropriate comments or sexual advances early on into getting to know each other. Not that I don't want to, I just really like to get to know a person first. I don't want to come off as pushy, and I am new at setting boundaries, and I'm having a hard time finding the best approach. I would love your thoughts and advice. P.S. I love your podcast and it helped me so much. So here's the thing. Why are you even entertaining guys that do that? It's not what you want. You shouldn't have to explain to a guy, yeah, I'm not looking to hook up yet. I'm not looking to do that. Like, honestly, these are things I didn't even have to speak about really with guys in early dating stages. If anyone gave me a bad vibe, or if anybody pushed my boundaries, which really rarely happened, but if anybody made me feel that way, that was it. Like, I just didn't talk to them further. I didn't go out with them again. And that's exactly what I'm talking about in this entire episode. Like, if I know what I want, then that's that. I shouldn't have to tell you to be what I want. I shouldn't have to tell you to give me what I want. You should just be what I want. That's the way I was going to wait for something. And that's exactly what happened for me. I never had to explain certain things. I never had to make my man be the man I wanted. It just so happened that he was the man that I wanted. And that's why things worked out the way they did, because I waited and I dated and I met these guys, and I, was weeding everybody out, and I would vet people, and anybody who really didn't make it past my vetting process never continued on. Like, I'm thinking of it as if I'm like the freaking bachelor. Like, bachelorette, I guess. They just got eliminated. I would not give people chances that already showed me their true colors. If somebody shows you their true colors, don't try to repaint them. To me, I see dating in black and white. You either are the man that I'm looking for or you're not. And it's not to say that those men could never be, but I don't think that they need to be told. I think they need to be shown, meaning you should just deny, like, let it go, don't continue to date those people, and then that could show them they weren't what you were looking for. And if they genuinely wanted you, if they specifically want to be with you, they want to be the man for you, then they'll come back around and they'll reach back out. And that's okay. People can change, people can grow, people can mature, people can evolve. And sure, you can go for it again if that's what you really want. But right now, you're saying it straight up, like, this doesn't align with me. I am not compatible with this behavior. I'm not looking for a hookup. I'm not looking for something casual. So these guys, like you said, I constantly was the word that you used. I constantly have guys making inappropriate comments or sexual advances. And you're like, I want to get to know somebody. So that's not what I want. So what do I tell them? To me, it's like, no, you are not compatible. So that's just that. Compatibility should be number one on your list of priorities in dating. That's how I found the relationship that I found. I think a lot of people forget that I was single forever before that. So I didn't have like tons of boyfriends and go through like tons of shitty experiences and then just got graced with a good relationship. No, I just stayed single, and then whenever somebody wasn't compatible with me, I continued to just move on, and then I finally found the one person that I was truly and utterly and divinely compatible with. So if these guys are not that, then I don't think that there's any certain approach that you should use with them. I think that the approach that you should use should be within yourself, of just how you're going to pursue dating moving forward. This is not something that I'm going to spend time on. This is, a person I'm not going to continue investing any more energy into. If you are in a place where you are constantly receiving something that you don't want, then you have to remove yourself from that place. You are in the wrong place. You have to put yourself in the place where you absolutely want to be. And that might mean being alone for a lot longer, which could be lonely and does require a lot of strength. But you can do it. If I could do it, you could do it. There's nothing any more special about me than there is about anybody else, any other girl who's single and struggling. It just requires inner strength that you can absolutely grant yourself and give yourself. 1, you have to be more patient with yourself. 2, you have to give yourself more grace. 3, you have to be able to forgive yourself. That's a huge thing. And you just have to be able to sit back and say, I'm strong enough to get through this. I'm going to come out better on the other end. I'm going to thank myself for this. That's another thing. You have to be grateful for yourself. You're going to be so happy that you waited and that you went through the storm alone instead of, wasting time on the wrong people. I actually had somebody send me a DM today. Let me see. I'm on my phone right now. She said, I was doing a Q&A on my story, and so somebody asked me, do you believe in knowing that you found your person immediately / after one date? So I said, yes, don't let people convince you that you're crazy. So a girl responded to that and she said, I'm the one who convinces myself that I'm crazy. So I said, don't self-sabotage. She said, I know, I love your love. I love the fact that you waited to find your man. That makes me so happy, instead of just wasting time with anybody. And that's exactly it. You're going to be so grateful that you didn't waste time with just anybody. Time with yourself, time bettering yourself, time strengthening yourself is never time wasted. Never, ever, ever. The absolute best thing you can do with your time is spend it on yourself. The best place to invest your time is on yourself. So if you are making yourself stronger and better and wiser and more mature and just more divinely you and stepping into your power and becoming more confident, like that is the absolute best investment of your time that you could possibly make. So don't be afraid to deny people. Don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to cut things off. Don't be afraid to end things with guys. If on the other end, you're going to be spending that time with yourself. If you're getting to a point where you're so desperate to meet somebody and you have such a scarcity mindset around men that you think you have to settle for these guys, that you have to experience this with guys, that you have to just keep seeing guys who constantly push your boundaries or make inappropriate comments or sexual advances, then that's where you're getting all like messed up in the head. That's where you're starting to convince yourself you have to settle, you can't just get what you want. And that's the complete opposite of where I want you to be right now. I want you to completely rewire your brain to say, wait, there's so many guys out there that I won't have to experience this with. So why should I experience it with this guy? There's going to be guys out there who won't push things too soon, who won't make sexual advances too early. There's guys out there who aren't going to be pushy and who aren't going to be inappropriate and shoot straight for hookups, because there's guys out there who want a relationship. There's guys out there who want not only a wife, but who want to be a husband, right? That's very important. A lot of guys want a wife, but are a lot of guys ready to be a husband? That is the big question, because these guys don't seem like they are. It seems like they want a hookup. Even if they want a relationship, even if they want a girlfriend or a wife, that's just not husband energy, because husband energy is a man who would be spending more time getting to know you first, like you said. Husband energy is a guy who would be taking time to pursue you properly and invest their time, effort, any energy, money, so on and so forth into you way before investing that physicalness, that side of things. They're going to be a lot more romantic before they're going to be sexual. And it seems like that's what you want. You literally said, I like to get to know each other first. I want to have boundaries and so on and so forth. That's wife energy. And so you're not a unicorn. You're not the only person who feels that way. There's going to be men out there who have the right energy, that are compatible with you, that want the same things. So I don't know what your vibe is. I'm not really big on ghosting. Quite frankly, if you feel like it's deserved, then go for it. I think if a guy is an asshole and you really don't even care at all how he feels, if he's made you feel bad, then you could just let it go and you can just completely ignore him from there, unmatch him, or delete his number, delete his text, don't answer text, whatever, if that's how you feel toward that person. But if you feel like this is a really good guy, we're just not compatible, it's just not what I'm looking for, then tell him. Now, of course, there's different ways that you can go about it. I don't know if you'd be the one to text him first and just outright say it, or if you would wait for him to reach out to you and start making small talk with you, or if you would wait for him to reach out to you to make plans and then you could just kind of shut down the plans. It really all depends. So 2 different ways that I would suggest going about it would be, 1, if you want to go the route of just saying straight up, we are not compatible, or 2, going the route of saying, I just don't think that we are or have what I'm looking for right now. So now again, it all depends on the guy, how good of a guy he is, how he's made you feel. If it's a really good guy who's texting you to make plans again, he wants to take you out again, you really like him, but you're just not, he's just not the one, maybe it's a little like off-putting or whatnot, what you could do is sandwich your message. So sandwich is like positive, negative, positive. You start the message on a positive note, you put the negative, bad news in the middle, then you end it on a positive note as well. So you could say to him, like, I really appreciate you reaching out and looking to make plans again. You're such a great guy, but I really don't want to waste your time. I just don't think that we have the romantic connection that I'm looking for at this stage, but I really wish you luck on your dating journey. So that's like, the positive is, I appreciate you reaching out. You're a great guy. The negative is, I don't want to waste your time. We don't have the romantic connection I'm looking for. And then the positive is, I really wish you luck on this dating journey. Or even another positive to end it off with would be like, whatever woman you end up with will be absolutely lucky to have you, just reiterating to them that they're a great guy, and for someone they will be the perfect match. So you could put it that way. Or if you do want to just get straight to the point, you don't want to fluff it up like that. Maybe he's a bit of an asshole and you just want to throw it right out there and get it over with. Rip it off like a band-aid, and you can just say, if you want to go the route of directly saying you're incompatible, make sure you use that word: compatibility, compatible, incompatibility, incompatible, however you want to put it out there, just to make it clear that you are not the right match. And you could just say, hey, to be honest with you, compatibility is my number one priority in dating, and I just don't feel that we're the right match for each other, especially at this stage, to continue seeing each other. It was really nice getting to know you. Wish you the best. And just leave it straight at that. At this stage, if we've already gone out once or twice or even 3 times or whatever, if we've been texting for weeks or talking for weeks, at this stage, we should be a little bit more compatible, and we're not. So that's it. We're not the right match by this point. We are not compatible, period. So you could just put that out there. You don't have to add too much fluff to it. You could be a little bit nice and say, wish you the best, wish you well, but you don't even have to do that if you don't want to. And it might sound hard and it might be hard, but guess what? The more that you put it out into the universe, what's not for you, the sooner and the better that you find what is for you. The more that you can deny and reject what you don't want, the more that you're going to find what you do want. You have to put it out into the world. If you keep accepting low vibrational things, if you keep accepting low quality experiences, if you keep accepting what you don't want, how are you ever going to get what you do want? You're not making the space for it. There's not enough room. You can't have both. You can't have what you do want and what you don't want. So you have to get rid of what you don't want first, and then that will open up the space and make the room for the things that you do deeply, deeply, deeply desire. There's a lot of things that we're going to do and we're not going to do in 2024. And one of the things that we are absolutely not going to do this year is give people a million chances, is to try to convince ourselves that somebody deserves more of our time, more of our energy, more effort from us, even when, like I said, their true colors came out and showed that they are not necessarily deserving of that. So let's not spend this year glamorizing or romanticizing bare minimum, low effort, incompatible guys. Let's spend this year focusing truly and wholly and solely on what we want. And that's it. Build your confidence around that. That's all it is. That's all you need. It's just confidence. If you're lacking confidence, that's why you're in these situations. So to get out of these situations requires confidence, and to get into the situations that you want requires confidence. That's how you're going to spend 2024. So build up the confidence and remove all those thoughts around needing to give people more and more and more of your time, more and more and more chances. It is not worth it. And that is all we have for today. If you have not yet rated the show, please leave 5 stars on both Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Also on Apple Podcasts, you can leave a review on my podcast as a whole when you're on the For the Girls page. On the podcast app, just scroll all the way down. You'll leave your 5 stars and a review. On Spotify, you can actually leave individual episode reviews. So you cannot leave a review for the entire show as a whole, but as you're finishing up this episode, you will see on the page for this episode in particular, it asks you, what did you think about this episode? Please, 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 please feel free to fill out that box and let Spotify know how much you loved this episode. And you can do that for any episode that you listen to on Spotify. So thank you girls so much for listening. Until next time, girls. I have something to share that has been highly requested, highly anticipated, and now it's finally here. The workbook for the girls who desire more. I created a 90-page digital workbook that includes journal prompts, powerful worksheets, thought-provoking questions, personal development activities, and so much more that'll have you digging deeper than ever before. And it's available right now for only $29. That's right. This workbook is a $299 value, and it's all yours for only $29 at victoriaalario.com or at the link in the show notes. So grab your dream workbook, get to work, and become your dream girl now at victoriaalario.com.